Is the ARB tyre pressure monitor system any good? So here's my long-term review of the product, so let's get into it. Hello, I'm Ben, and this is a video of a long-term review of the ARB TPMS system. So I've had this system for a couple of years now, and I'm going to tell you what's been going on and what are my thoughts. So first things first is what I like about the system is that if you've seen another video that I did, it's a quick unboxing, and basically I installed the pressure monitor systems myself. So the link will actually be down below. Look, it's one of my early videos, so don't judge me too harshly. But there are quite a few options in the market, but I guess I chose this system over all the others as I didn't want a system to clutter the dash, and I went with ARB as I've used some of their other products, and you know, they've been really good. It's compact. I think it's one of the smallest on the market, and it's also being able to link into the ARB link system. I don't have one of those, but I know it can be used on that system as well. So you know, the ability to monitor the car tires, the trailer tires, and all the spares in this compact form factor, it was ideal for me. You know, the ability to easily switch between on-road and off-road from the press of a button is a really great idea. You know, really easy to use and basically gives me all the information I need for monitoring. By the way, if you have any questions or comments, why don't you hit us up below in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer the questions. And if you really do find this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So what issues have I faced? The LCD screen seems to fade over time. This is the second one that I've had, and it seems to be doing it as well. Look, it doesn't affect the operation, but it's a little bit annoying. But apart from that, I've had no real issues whatsoever. But here are a few things that annoy me about the product itself. So if you rotate your tires or you need to put on a spare, you basically need to go through and default the whole system and go around and reprogram all the tires again, so it basically matches up with the display. You know, I haven't figured out a way to see if you don't need to do this. If you have, please let me know, as it drives me nuts when I do need to do it. The other thing that's annoyed me is when I guess I didn't set it up properly to begin with, and this had to do with the trailer extender. At first I just placed it in one of the boxes that I have in the back of the ute, and it worked really fine and well. However, when I went to disconnect the trailer and you know, went on a day trip, the warning beeps just went off. You know, basically it's saying it can't find the trailer, which it can't because it's not there. So it's a bit to be expected. But you know, don't install the extender on your vehicle if you want peace and quiet. You see, when you try to silence this alarm, it goes off for about 10 seconds and then it continues to beep, and then you silence it and then it goes on again. So which brings me basically into the next point, is that if the alarm goes off for either a low pressure or high pressure warning, you can silence the alarm for a few seconds and then it will go again. You know, you'll either need to stop, investigate, fix the issue, or in my case, I would just depower it and stop the alarm. You see, in the early days, I would notice when I was fully loaded or as the ambient temperature increased, the higher pressure warning would go off. You know, the very first time I pulled over on the freeway, I saw there was nothing wrong, so I kept driving. A few minutes later, the alarm would go off, and I kept hitting that silence button, but it just wouldn't go off. So I either had to stop, deflate, or disconnect the monitor altogether, which is, you know, not the ideal solution when you're trying to measure your tires. It was only later on, after contacting ARB, I found that the only way to fix this was to increase the low pressure warning. I couldn't simply increase the high pressure warning alarm. It was tied to the low pressure, and it has a tolerance of about 15 psi from the low pressure warning. So normally I like to set my tyres on the rear to about 40 psi cold, and then by the time you hook up the trailer, you know, you load up and you jump on the highway. I noticed it jumped to 46 psi, so that warning just went off. So to get around this now, I just set the low pressure to like 32 psi, and that gives me that little bit of tolerance. Another thing I would do is keep the manual in the glove box, as trying to remember how to reset or change some settings, it's difficult to remember. It requires the sequences of listening to beeps and holding a button a certain way to get into different settings. But overall, I've been really impressed with the system. It's actually saved us a couple of times, but more importantly, basically gives me and the family peace of mind. You know, there was a time we got a stick in our tyres and we had to plug the tyre. That was a mission in itself. But it was great to be able to monitor that tyre whilst we're driving to see how well the plug was holding up. You know, the plug is still in there today, and now I'm starting to see that particular tyre has a slow leak. That reminds me I need to get that fixed. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on the ARB TPMS. Apart from those few annoyances, it's been a really good product. You know, maybe one day I'll hook it up to the ARB links if I get the chance or I've got funds available. But that's it. So I hope this little bit of information has been helpful. If it has, would love to give us a thumbs up. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button so you get notified when we release another video. You know, we're always checking out new sites and playing around with gear and equipment. So if you have any questions or comments, hit us up below in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer the question. Until next time.